Hello, good evening. Welcome to Property Zone Live again. This is Sean, and today I want to talk about a hot topic recently. As I think almost everyone was following our ringgit. How are we faring, especially against US dollar and Singapore dollar? This topic has been going on and on. Everybody is paying attention. Like for some people, this is perhaps the first thing they check when they woke up from bed. All right. So if you are a property investor and you want to find out if touch wood, Malaysian ringgit is keep falling against US dollar, what could be the potential impact and what is actually the real reason behind it? Okay. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to bring up some slides I've done, and I can't wait to share with you. Okay. All right. I think this is one of the chart. A lot of people are looking at it. Basically, the higher the chart goes, it means that we need more ringgit in exchange for one US dollar. So previously, back in early this year, it was hovering just above 4.2 and below 4.3. Okay, actually, our ringgit is gaining a lot of strength, especially after there's a change of government end of last year. Then slowly, due to the Fed policy and among other macro factors, you can see our ringgit is weakening. We need more and more ringgit in exchange for the same US dollar. Okay, the weakest point at time is actually about 4.7. Now, there are two schools of thought here. Number one, some people say it has nothing to do with ringgit. It's just because the US dollar is too strong against all currency. But some people say even though US dollar is strong, but we are one of the worst performing Asian currency at this moment. So it means that even though US dollar is strong, but we want to compare our peer region currency movement. Actually, we fare one of the weakest. And who is actually weaker than us? Let's have a look. Okay, ringgit ringgit is actually worst performing currency. That means it's getting weaker and weaker year to date after Japanese yen. Okay, when was it published? Sorry, I actually covered the date. It's actually June. June this year is less than a month ago. So this info is still very valid and updated. Now, how much they have fallen? The year-to-date ringgit was among the worst performing currency after Japanese yen. And as you can see, we are falling against US dollar by 4.5% year to date. From beginning of the year until now, ringgit has depreciated 4.5%. But yen, Japanese yen has dropped by 5.9% in yen. I think the other articles I've seen also, Chinese renminbi value also in the top three. So amongst the brother and sister in terms of weakening currency value, Japanese yen, ringgit, and renminbi. So these are the three. Now, at this moment, if you are talking about what are the impacts to property investor in Malaysia as a whole, when the US dollars are keep increasing against ringgit, I will say that every coin has two sides. All right, nothing is absolutely good and nothing is absolutely bad. But I think you need to let it be. And you are the property investor, you need to know what could be the potential benefit and what could be the potential challenge. Probably I put it as a challenge that you need to look forward to. Okay. So next, let me talk about what could be the potential benefit if you are currently a property investor or you are actually looking to buy. Should you buy when the ringgit keep falling? I think number one is that attractiveness to foreign investment, right? Now, when the ringgit is keep falling, all right, all our Malaysian properties actually denominated in ringgit. So when the ringgits are falling, property in Malaysia, okay, in the eyes of foreign investor, are getting cheaper. Okay, if I can put it in a dollar and cents, let's say for a foreigner to invest in KL, the capital of Malaysia, the minimum threshold is 1 million. Last time, when the US dollar is 1 against 4 ringgit, it will cost them about 250,000, okay, to purchase a property in KL. But now, because of stronger US dollar value, they only need to come up with 213,000 to buy the same 1 million ringgit of property. So if some of the foreign investor have locked their eyes in Malaysian property, okay, it could be also a lot of Singaporeans, all right, whether they are original from Singapore, or they are Malaysian and actually have moved to Singapore. When they look back at currency, they actually find a great bargain in Malaysian property prices. So this present an investment opportunity to them. Okay. Next, as you know, Malaysia has a lot of things, especially in constructing a property. We need to rely on import, and import including lots and lots of building material from our different countries, whether from China, Indonesia, so on and so forth. So most of the things are the deals are denominated in US dollar. Higher US dollar means higher cost for the importer. Higher cost of importer directly will actually impact the cost of construction for developer, the main con, and eventually will pass on to the end user. Okay, and this is basically a chain reaction from A all the way down to the Z, and nobody can escape. If anything happened to the A, the impact will be felt all the way to the end at Z. Okay, a weaker ringgit can lead to high inflations and increased construction costs, which may eventually reflect in higher property prices. Okay, developer might pass on this increased price to buyers, making properties more expensive for both local and foreign investors. Okay, now we talk about inflation, all right, because all the topic is kind of related. Inflation will make the currency value depreciate, right? The real value of the currency actually depreciated when you have higher inflation number. Now, when we talk about Malaysian, we might not really feel the hinge for most people. Yes, from 6 ringgit to 7 ringgit, maybe 750 for a bowl of rice, right? Okay, but if we take a leaf from other countries that some of us have visited, even if you have not visited, you roughly know where it is. I'm talking about countries smack between Europe and Asia. Okay, Turkey. Turkey has experiencing a huge inflation for the past 1 year, and their president then, okay, refused to adjust their monetary policy. It means they refuse to increase their interest rate. They want to lower down the interest rate in order to keep the business and market keep on flowing. And because of that, inflation was skyrocketing. Their currency value lira was dipping badly. Okay, not until recently, back in March. All right, you can. Sorry, this is back in June. Okay, Turkey's central bank hikes interest rate to 15% in a dramatic U-turn. Before that, they are talking about cutting rate. All right, and when the new finance minister step in, all right, they reverse their policy. They increase the interest rate. Most of the time, we talk about 25 basis point. We're already complaining. Do you know how much it's increased? It has increased 8.5%. Okay, as you can see here. And they increased to 15% from roughly about 9%. Okay, they are talking about 6% increment just in one shot. Okay, even then, some of the economists saying that the rate hike is not enough. Why they say that? Let's take a look at the inflation numbers of Turkey. You can see this is breakdown by month. All right, July, August, September, and October, and you can see their figure was a whopping 85%, 84%, 83% previously, only until recently. all right? Their inflation has slowed down, but we are still talking about 44%. We're talking about 40% inflation rate, all right? If you are in there, if you are staying and working and living in Turkey, I think you'll definitely feel the pinch of inflation, different from Malaysian. Now, how about homeowner? How about tenant? How are they weathered through? What are things they have gone through during this hyperinflation data? One word said it all. Owning a home, maybe I can put a word here, remains a dream, at least for the moment. Housing crisis. Okay, what are they? Let's take a look. According to Turkey Central Bank, the property prices across the country in February, okay, experienced an annual increase of 141.5%, right? Higher inflation, lower currency value has actually caused the property prices to increase, because now when the currency is weaker, it means you need more currency to buy the exact same property. Okay, but the property has increased only about 75% in US dollar during the same period. Have you ever wondered why? Okay, so the other one is say cost of renting, right? If you own a house at that moment, if you are the owner, you might be benefiting by not just the higher value of your property, but also in terms of renting, it has gone up 157%. What it means? It means if you are if your tenants are paying 1,000, okay, let's say 1,000 lira for the rental. After a year, they're probably need to pay about 2,006. Okay, they need to pay about 2,006 for the same house. Can you imagine the impact? Okay, of course, coming back to Malaysia, in the face of falling ringgit, it actually, in a way, helped to boost tourism. A weaker currency can attract more tourists in Malaysia, and of course, it become an affordable destination. A bit better if you have any properties doing Airbnb. Okay, directly your renter shall go up in terms of ringgit Malaysia, because tourists is willing to pay for the USD equivalent. For example, instead of paying 200 US dollar, now they only need to pay about $160 or $180 to get the same accommodation value, because US dollar is just getting stronger. So in a way, they have attract tourists to come to Malaysia, visit cuti Malaysia, but at the same time, the things they pay, would actually help to increase the rental yield, especially you're running a short-term rental like Airbnb. So that would be the thing. But of course, in view of the foreign currency, our central bank official, even though our minister, our finance minister said this, for us out that um, when the time is right, Bank Negara has no choice to intervene. So what are the government policy in response to weak ringgit is they might increase interest rate further. So when this thing happened, as you have seen recently, it actually dampened the buying spirit for property, especially for those first-time home buyer, new out of job, uh, the kind of investor, they kind of property buyer. Okay, so second thing, the government policy may also realize, because behind real estate industry, there are thousand and thousand industry supporting the real estate. So if the engine, the growth engine of real estate is slowing down or even reversing, the impact on these thousand and thousand of industries, for example, building materials, for example, ID, architecture, landscaper, bricklayers, will be all impacted. Okay. The last one, if you have experienced 1997, 1998, we are talking about capital flight. Capital flight is actually a technical word for people to say that, the money got legs. Our money actually got legs, and it run faster than Usain Bolt. So it means that if from the starting point, if there's a discrepancy of the return on the money, for example, due to the reason of higher interest rate, okay, the money by eventually the smart money will actually flow run or even fly to a place that give higher rental. I give you an example. Recently, the past 1 year, US have been increasing their interest rate, right? It makes putting the money in US finance system, putting the money in US market become a more attractive, lucrative place. So therefore, we are talking about capital flowing from other countries, especially emerging market, back to US. So in times of uncertainties, a weaker currency might encourage capital flight, where investor and individual move their fund out of the country seeking more stable and higher investment return abroad. Okay, this will lead to increase in demand for properties. So it may sound a bit contradictory to each other, but everything's happened. It may not just have a one-way impact. So these are the sharing I have done for today. I hope you guys can you guys enjoyed it, and I see you guys next round. All right. Have a good Thursday evening. Bye bye.